Hi, friends. This is Jim Wortham, and thanks for tuning in for just a few minutes of my own insight and perhaps some, I don't want to say advice, but some thoughts for you to consider. I want to talk about something that uh, is hard for many people to think about, not to just talk about, and that's a topic called my final days. Now, the thing that's so funny about this is in my 20s and 30s, I was determined to become a millionaire. And at age 50, at age 50, I had not accomplished very much at all, actually. I was just getting involved in a type of work that I enjoyed, counseling people with alcohol and drug problems, things like that, mental health problems. Well, at age 50 was a worst birthday I could have had. Not for what anything you could possibly think, but the way I saw it, half, one half of my life was over, and I only had half of it left, and I wasn't accomplishing what I wanted to accomplish. Now, that may not sound like any problem there, but when this person came up and asked me, "How old are you?" I said, "I'm about mid age." Well, unfortunately, they knew how old I was, 50. They said, "How many people do you know that's living to be 100?" You know, that was just a flash of memory from a long time ago, but I still remember the person that said that. Um, so, what to do during the final days? Now, I did a video about 3 or 4, well, within the last week. And I'm looking here on a sheet of paper at some of the comments that I got. Fortunately, I took some of them off. They were, let's just say, how would you like this? Someone sending you the message saying this is what I erased, one of them. "This is the biggest waste of time I've ever seen on Facebook." The topic is called "Retire at 62 Years Old. Receive Social Security at 62." Now, there's a lot of people doing these type of videos and getting astronomical views. Well, I got 113 views. Got one like. I was going to say, and as far as I know, no one subscribed from that one. But what what got my gut, what got my soul, were the number of people that wrote in saying, you talk more about your past and your past writing and publishing. I published my own books. I tried to make a living as a poet. So I got so many of these that yesterday I decided to delete that video today. And I started to delete it, and my whole goal of making videos is to try to make one a day and get better. Get a somewhat of a studio design, get a decent computer. I'm on a $190 used Dell computer right now that says Latitude. It's very old. I'm not sure if it's Windows 7 that I'm operating on, but you get the picture, don't you, that I've got old equipment. I don't even have a microphone or anything that would be considered first class, second class, or third class YouTube material. I hope to go that direction. If I don't completely delete the channel, I aim to get better. Okay, why did I tell you that this title was my final days? Where do you define old? What age? Some people say 62, some say 65. Something slipped up on me. I'm 75. Had a birthday January the 13th. 75 years old. And the reason I didn't delete that one on retiring at 62 is because I covered a lifetime of thoughts, desires, beliefs that I was going to become wealthy, beliefs that what I wrote would be read in books, in book forms, and they are in book forms. But here's the thing I wanted to say. People thought I was promoting myself.
You okay, baby?
Yes, doing great. They thought I was promoting. My wife's checking on me. I could fall over any time. And she wouldn't know it if I didn't answer. I guess it's good to be living with somebody that cares that much for you. Okay, so how do I throw away 75 years and then talk about retiring maybe on the second half of the video? How do you throw away 75 years of your life because of comments coming in saying that all you talked about were your writing days? I didn't see it that way. I haven't watched it since I produced it, but it's there for the watching, and I don't know that those comments were worthy of sharing to me and to everybody that watched it. And like I said, I think I may have deleted the worst one, which was the biggest waste of time they ever had on watching a YouTube video. I should type that up and frame it. I mean, how many of you all that's on video get a comment like that? This is one of a kind. It should be maybe painted with colors. I could do oil painting. I could make a big painting of it. And when you go to my channel, you'll see this. This is watching Jim Wortham's videos, maybe the worst time you ever spent looking at YouTube videos. Something along that line. Wouldn't that be funny? Okay. Let's give some insight to you. I always, if I can't give some type of insight on the videos, whether it just applies to me or just very few out there listening, then I don't make the video, or I'll erase it. I'll delete it the next day. Okay, so first of all, I want to talk about how selfish we were as we were growing up. I'm talking about maybe maybe like me, you can only remember well from high school on up. And how you had to wear certain brands. I never wore brands. I had Sears and Pennies. I thought that was the name, brands. Let me also add to that I had very few friends. What did I say? Through high school, did I have 10 total, including guys and girls? And I may have dated 2 or 3 girls from my school, Pleasure Ridge Park High School in Louisville, and hung around with a group of guys. When I say a group of guys, 2 or 3 throughout high school. Okay, so luckily we had a lot of Catholic schools around, and they had what was dances called sock hops. So that's where I met the girls that I dated. They didn't have this judgmental idea that I had to be prosperous and from an upper class family and things like that. So that did make me less self-centered. Maybe I became more self-centered because if I didn't like people at one school, I'd go to another sock hop the same night. Meet some other girls that I might want to ask out. Okay, so what I'm talking about here is how we treat others. Did we treat others well during those years of high school, or before, or after? If you had a chance to do it over, would you be kinder to these people. There was a girl in my high school that I think she limped a little bit. And if she was coming down the hall, all the guys would go on the other side of the hall and say, I think you like her and you've dated her before. Made fun of her. I know her name. I'm not going to mention it. I'd like to know where she is now and maybe even check up on her on social media, see if she ever got confidence to where she would go on social media. Shouldn't all the people that did that not only forgive themselves for saying that out loud and to themselves, and those who believed in God or believe in God now, would it be a nice thing to ask their God to forgive them of doing that? Let's let go. Number one thing, insight. Let's let go of self-centeredness. If we think we're the center of everything, that people are to do what we want them to do, we're a narcissist. And I know that's a terrible thing that I've had to work with people that were narcissistic. Along with that is what's called a social, it's called a, think of it in a minute. So you've got a narcissist that believes everybody that is living should almost worship everything they do and certainly not question them, but to do it. The other, number two, is called an antisocial personality disorder. That's antisocial personality disorder. This does not mean you don't like people. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do very much with you're cruel to people. You say things that are cruel. You do things that are cruel. Now, this is based upon the mental health psychiatric diagnostic book. I know you wanted to hear all that. Called the DSM. They update it all the time. I had to memorize it. I'll share this much with yourself. In Kentucky, I'm a psychologist. Over here in Indiana, I got credentials I'm not going to mention because somebody will email me and say all you do is talk about you and what you accomplished. So, but it may be included in the old video I did. I'm sure it is. I haven't answered all of the people that have written to me, but if you've written to me, I'm going to go and over the last month it would be, I'm going to answer your request or comment on them. Several of you know I did a couple on long COVID. I've had COVID several times. My memory slips. I can't walk very far. I'm only alert in the evening about this time for 4 hours. That's when I do these videos. When I say alert, I mean where I can remember things clearly, halfway clearly, where I want to even talk, where there's not brain fog, where I'm pushing out worry out of my mind. So I'm going to close here pretty soon, but I wanted to, if there was one insight that I wanted to share, it's that age creeps up on you faster than you think. Things that you do now that doesn't make a person feel good at all. You'll think about it later and wished you hadn't done it. And they may be thinking about it the rest of their life and feel exactly like you told them that you saw them. I say saw them, what I mean is whatever you said that may have been cruel, unkind, will stick with them the rest of their life, and they may think they are really that way. What if we took that one bit of advice, that's just a little bit of advice, and could go back to the grade school and high school days and pull it right on up to where you are now, and everything that you said was kind? Think of how good people would feel. Most of us can't say that. We've got a mixture of kindness and cruelness. It's called by the name cruel. We can't undo it. We can't go backwards. It may be stuck in their mind forever. So be kind. If you start to say something negative, stop midstream, smile, and think of something positive to say. I'm looking at some notes here I wrote because I usually don't write notes, but I've learned a little bit better. You'll find this something that's going to be hard to do as you get older. You need to consider letting go of self-centeredness, thinking that you need to have more possessions. You may want to start giving thought to getting rid of attachments. I have attachments here I'm trying to get rid of. I'm a ham radio operator. I can talk to people over the world on ham radio. You may not have heard of it. I've got a room full of equipment. I'm needing to say, what younger person can afford ham radio equipment that I can give it to? And you know why I don't do it? I'm attached to it. Since age 14, I've been a ham radio operator. Gotta let go of those two things. Being self-centered, thinking you're so daggone important. And number two, start letting go of attachments. Start giving them away. To people, to Goodwill, Salvation Army. I'm not much on selling anything to anybody, so I give it away. I give stuff away. I won't take a penny. Even in counseling, when people tried to give me co-payments or deductibles, I wouldn't take it because I thought they needed the money for their family more than I needed it for my family. So even people that offered me money that were self-pay, I wouldn't take it. I've had a couple that stuffed it in my pocket, some money. I remember that. So the other thing is that you'll find hilarious is when I do pass from this world, I don't want an obituary. I don't want people to know about it. I don't want people feeling obligated for this, quote, sharing of respect, getting in line and coming up and looking at me. I don't see a reason for myself that I've earned any reason for people to do that. I'd prefer for it not to be mentioned in the newspaper. I've told people that know me closely that. And I'll say something that I was criticized on that I mentioned earlier. If you're 62 or getting close to it, feel free to encourage yourself to apply for for Social Security. You don't know when the last day the bell's going to ring. And when that bell rings for the last time, you won't hear it again. My brother was 66. I had mentioned 67 on the video, but I found out today he was 66. That's when most people were told to apply for full Social Security. So he did receive Social Security between 62 and 66, which allowed him to resign from work for those few years and to enjoy life for those few years in the way that he wanted to. Now, it's been a pleasure talking with you. I know this is not a happy ending for some of you to watch, depending on your age, of course. I have a friend that I'll see this week that's 95. I'm rooting for him to live to be to at least 110. Billy Graham. I'm reading his book called Coming Home for the second time. He's a preacher, was a preacher, evangelist. And he said the strangest thing in his whole life was he was still alive. His wife had passed away. He probably was in tears most days from what I gathered from the book. His body was, let's just say, giving out. I'm sure that he had the support to stay in his own home till 99, when he passed. And I'm also sure by from reading that book that each day was full of sorrow after his wife died. And I can't tell you if that was 15 years before he died or not, but I'm saying somewhere between 10 and 15 years he suffered alone. He would see one preacher a day or two preachers a day for just an hour to encourage them if they made a request to see him. He didn't have any energy, of course. I don't know what he died from, but I share that with you. You may live a lot longer than you think, or a lot shorter. Like these singers and ball players dying in their 50s and 60s. So hang in there. Make it a point, if you can, to see the best in everybody, to speak the best to everybody, and to try to enjoy life the best you can each day, which for some of us is harder than for other people. I want to thank you for listening. I know this has gone on for 32 minutes. Very few are still with me. And if you are, thank you. Thank you for listening. And I don't usually ask people to subscribe, but if you'd like to, there should be a place to subscribe. I've got 38 people now after 10 years. But I wasn't on but maybe the last few months. And let me tell you why. One of my clients that was in my counseling room had a phone, and she was always showing me YouTube. And I said, could you show me how to do that? I had an Android phone. She set it up for me. We did one YouTube. I think I erased it. It was what it was like to be a counselor or something. And I could never get my act together because I use computers instead of the phone. So it was only because of determination that I started looking at YouTube channels to see how to set up a program, a channel. And as you know, I haven't done a good job at decorating it up, nor do I have a good microphone, nor do I have a good computer. But if you're picking up my message, if there's anything there that's been useful, I hope it was, and I thank you for listening. Hope you come back again. I hope to do this most days. Take care.